Hello, everyone. I'm so excited. We've got Charlotte Hommel. She is a sales consultant at J&J with us today, and we're going to be talking about suicide prevention and crowdfunding on CaringCrowd. Just going to have a great conversation to get great insights from Charlotte. Remember, J&J is a sponsor of our work. We're grateful for them and their support, so stick around. You don't want to miss this episode.
Welcome to the Your Mark on the World show with your champion of social good, Devin D. Thorpe.
Please support the sponsors who made this episode possible, including Johnson & Johnson's CaringCrowd and GoodCrowd.school. Charlotte, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Devin. I'm very happy to be here.
Well, we are thrilled to have you and excited to talk about your work. Now, you're a full-time employee of J&J, but you do this crowdfunding stuff for nonprofits as a volunteer passion project, right?
This is correct. It is really something that rings true to my heart and makes working in sometimes a very stressful environment so rewarding on such a deeper level.
Well, tell us a little bit. I think that you've done a couple of campaigns related to suicide prevention. And I know this is a sensitive question, but why did you choose that particular cause?
Right. It's a cause that's very near and dear to my heart. I have a friend who lost her daughter to suicide 5 years ago. And in the aftermath, we've talked about a lot of different things, and really it's for children. The passion that I have is for children. Used to be around 15 to 24, but in today's world and society, it's really trickled down to, say, about 10-year-olds. And the more you talk to people, the more mental health is a true issue in our young population. The pressure that they feel and the stress that they feel is nothing like you and I may have felt when we were young, although to some degree you can still relate to it. I remember myself in college feeling very sad, and you could even say depressed. And as time went on, these feelings pass. Sometimes it's part of maturing, sometimes it's a chemical situation. There's lots of reasons why good mental health should be at the forefront of what we're talking about today. It's as important as physical health because often mental health will affect your physical health. So we really need to bring that to the forefront.
So what did the money you raised? You raised $15,770 on CaringCrowd in 2 different campaigns. That was the total from the 2.
Right.
What did that money do?
Right. So there were 2 organizations that I raised it for. The first organization is the Jordan Porco Foundation that focuses in on high school and college students. And they do something called the Fresh Check Day. And they bring it to college students where it's a peer-to-peer run program that educates students on suicide prevention, decreasing the stigma of talking about mental health or depression or anxiety. And so it opens the door to conversation. It opens the door to ask for help. So that's the first one. The second program, nonprofit that I worked with is called Inspire Inc. And they're here in the town that I live in Fairfield, Connecticut. And they focus in on creating lasting family connections. Most of what they do focuses in on the communication of the parents with the children and the parents understanding what the children are going through, as well as learning ways to communicate with them that create lasting bonding connections. I personally think that program would be great in middle school going up. I didn't take the program. I personally took the program after supporting the nonprofit until my kids were well past high school. So it's a great program. It funded parents getting informed.
is so helpful. It seems to me. What do you think what is the difference those programs make in the lives of the young people you're hoping to help?
Mm-hmm. It does multiple things, and they're even though they're very separate, they're connected. Number one, it reduces the stigma of mental health challenges. And that's important because in order for somebody to start talking about what their mental health challenges are, is they have to feel that they're not going to be judged. That's the first thing. The second thing is it allows us all to understand what they're going through and allows us to learn how to start a conversation in a way that growing up for me, it was pushed under the rug, as I have an Irish background and everybody says, oh, the Irish always kind of just, sweep things under the rug. And it was part of my childhood. You just move on and you push forward. Well, and I did, but some people can't, and they need that outlet. So it impacted children. These programs impact children. It bonds people. That's how it helps everyone.
It's important work that you're doing. I mean, just life-changing, life-saving kind of work that you're doing. I really want to commend you for doing that, especially along a full-time job. As you did it, you learned some lessons, though. What would you suggest are some tips for people who are raising money on CaringCrowd?
First of all, get started. Everybody has good intentions. Come up with some real ideas of how what you're doing is impacting individuals and how people that you are targeting will relate to that impact. So if somebody's starting with CaringCrowd, and I've talked to lots of different nonprofits. Yesterday was a great example. I talked to a nonprofit, the Bridgeport Rescue Mission here in the Fairfield County area, and they have lots of projects. So we talked to them specifically about what projects are urgent, what needs to come to the forefront, and what will resonate with people. That's the first thing. The second thing we talk about is their goal. What they need. Is it a realistic goal, especially for a first project? Because you want to have a realistic goal in the first project. You want to have a goal of a dollar amount that you can reach so that you feel success. And as we all know, success breeds success. You choose the right photographs, you choose the emotional messaging. So that would be my first thing, is choose a good first project. And I'm going to look at my notes, Devin.
That's a good idea.
You do edit, right?
No memory is as good as a piece of paper.
Right. Okay, first project, setting realistic goals and setting the timeline.
Right.
Also, when you build the project on CaringCrowd, you support the images and the images with your goal, as well as being prepared to launch. So prior to launching, you want to make sure that you've set up some hype on the project. You want to have plan a campaign communication calendar. You want it to include your social media, email, press releases, blogs or vlogs, website, networking. You want to plan this prior to the project launching so that you have a good start to the program. And once people start to donate, you will see that others will donate behind it.
Oh, that's great. Great insights. Charlotte, you've had a remarkable career. I mean, what a fortunate career you've had at J&J. But what are you most proud of having accomplished?
I have to say, if we're talking as a whole in my career, is I feel that I have been, a couple of people have called me a catalyst. And I think I'm most proud about being a catalyst for connecting people that impact society. I can say that personally, maybe the little bit that I do doesn't have a massive impact, but the connections that I make are impacting others. So it's important that no matter where you are in your life, that you maintain connections and you look for the heart and soul of a person so that no matter what situation you're in, you can connect people when the time is right and when the need is there.
That's really, I think, a powerful insight, and I'm grateful that you would share that. As you think back along your career, you've had many opportunities, and you've developed a real passion for doing good in the world. What's the secret for marrying a successful career with impactful volunteer work?
That's a very good question. I would say it would be to just be human, treat others with kindness, and take true interest in what they have going on in their life. In sales, which has been most of my career, in salespeople are often looked at as somebody pushing the business, somebody trying to gain for their own sense of being. And while that is, part of that's my job, is to sell, what really empowers me is to understand the needs of people, whether they're business needs or personal needs. And I think that lends itself to creating bonds and creating relationships that allow each other to learn what's going on in our lives and allow us to connect with people on a whole different level. And, at the same time, of course, it does help business, but that can never be the drive because it's insincere and people will see right through it. So for me, the drive is to really understand what people's needs are. And that makes me feel good. When I know I've met someone's needs, that's really what drives me and helps me to help others. And it's a catalyst for myself.
Charlotte, what is your superpower?
Oh, my superpower. I would say connecting people and looking for the kindness in people. Not always easy because we're all human. And so I would say that's my superpower.
Oh, that's great. Well, Charlotte, I sure appreciate you taking time to be with us today. Before we go, I wonder if knowing you're busy, if you just take 1 minute and tell people how they can learn more about CaringCrowd and perhaps the projects you supported there.
Sure. They can learn about CaringCrowd on Facebook, as well as CaringCrowd.com. The projects that I support, they can look for My Friend Abby, they can look for Inspire Inc., they can look for Global Vision 2020, they can look for the Jordan Porco Foundation on CaringCrowd, and soon they can look for the Bridgeport Rescue Mission and the Will to Live Foundation. So those are two other projects that I'm working with.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Charlotte. We really appreciate you taking the time, and we wish you every success in your ongoing efforts to volunteer your time and make a difference in the world.
Thank you very much, Devin. I appreciate this opportunity, and so do the nonprofits that I'm working with.
All righty. Let's do some good.
Thank you.
At CaringCrowd, we believe everyone has the power to make a difference. Through our crowdfunding platform for community health, we empower passionate people to drive real change. Whether you work for a nonprofit organization, volunteer, or want to get involved for the first time, you can post a campaign on CaringCrowd. Join us, because caring is where change begins.
At GoodCrowd.school, 5% of what you pay to learn how to make a difference goes to nonprofits working to eradicate extreme poverty, improve global health, and reverse climate change by 2045. So when you take a course to learn how to change the world, you do change the world. Get started at GoodCrowd.school today. Thanks for tuning in to the Your Mark on the World show, the Social Impact Podcast. Please subscribe via YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or Spotify.